Steve, what happened last time?
Okay, last time we bought out the general store, much to the joy of the general store Hobbit. We then, goodness to me, pretty sure we got sidetracked somehow, but we did make it into the woods. So we found the wine, but before that, we found the dwarf camp, and then we nearly set out north before, I can't remember who it was, but somebody was like, hey, let's go get the wine. Let's see. So we got the wine. We came back. Oh, something happened in between. Sorry, I fell asleep on the couch before I ran to the computer. So, I think that's the best I can do right now.
I think you're right. Yeah. You all were able to negotiate for the tree wine sap from the satyrs. And actually, one person was able to sneak into the woods. I believe it was you, Bashaw.
So we've got two now. And
sneak some of it. And then as other people were able to convince them, in particular Warden, who offered a feather from his beloved raven, which was the thing requested from the satyrs to give one a piece of someone you love. And so they freely gave you, for that prize treasure, some of the tree sap wine, which we know works because Ben tested it out. And he was unconscious for like 11 hours.
Yeah.
Now the part I think you skipped over, Steve, was the fights that we got in. We got into one fight where we killed a couple of scourges.
Right, yeah.
And a couple of goblins. Yeah.
There was a big troll fight before that, wasn't there?
There was also the troll.
Oh, yeah, the troll, yeah.
And then I also, the one thing I want to add too is the golden fox that we met too, because that was pretty special.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a golden fox in the woods.
Yeah.
Before the satyrs, yeah.
So yeah, I am...
All right, well, you, it is the 11th day. No one's asked about the calendar that they use here, but you're not really sure, like, what day of the week it is. However, it has been mentioned that there are regular days of the week, because they claim that on Friday there's going to be a town hall. That's in 2 days. At least that's what I've calculated, including the time that you all have camped out. Otherwise, there's not really a clear demarcation, not a clear passage of time. You awaken in Brandonsford. The morning squawking of Mildred outside, who is happily in her pen, and hobbits already about in the streets with their safety hats on.
I will say, probably the reason.
I have a goal.
All right.
I want to discover what the procedure is for having an emergency meeting, an emergency town meeting. I don't think we need to wait a week. If there's anything, there's got to be something in there, and I bet if we can find what it is, we can force that meeting to happen and get the training regiments up and running.
I'm gonna need my Hobbit generators.
Game.
What's that? What'd you say, Steve? I think it was.
That's a dangerous game.
Well, yeah. And Gosh.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say a non sequitur. Go ahead.
I think to add to that, I did read over all of the documents, so maybe there's a chance that I see through all of my readings of how to become a hobbit.
You spent all day.
I did. I already spent a whole day reading documents, so hopefully there's a chance that has already came up.
Yeah. Let me bring up all my Hobbit stuff, because that's all going to come very much into play.
Ross, I don't need Hobbit stuff immediately. I need Hobbit stuff.
What? Yes.
You said you weren't able to call. You hadn't got your Hobbit simulator up and running, but you would if you needed to.
And
so.
now I need it right away. Yes.
And also, I'd like to tell everybody, out of character, I'm 80 experience points from level 3.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I was 49 last week.
The
The X is cruel that way.
There was Warden. So you all have this conversation inside of your now furnished house, which you sometimes need 2 pieces of Hobbit furniture to make up for 1 piece of big person. So, for example, 2 Hobbit chairs or 2 Hobbit beds.
Or Hobbit beds, you said last time.
Yeah, because I imagine that they're actually
Yeah.
horizontal, and then you just put them together.
Right.
And anyways, so you're sitting there. Warden, you mentioned that you read all the different things about what it takes to be a citizen of Brandonsford. And you recall that there are a number of things regarding social gatherings. Those things that would be considered municipal, such as a safety meeting, which is what's scheduled or to discuss matters of safety for the public, are only scheduled for regular meetings. And if that doesn't make sense, you're right. But it doesn't matter because that's their rule. However, you do recall that there are types of meetings that can be impromptu. But they, under no circumstances, can be such a matter as something as important as public safety. No. Impromptu meetings can be parties. And it's expected, in fact, and been a bit of a faux pas that you... the others haven't known because they didn't read the documents. I don't know if you knew this, but they cheated and had someone do it. Like they found a way out of doing it. Or someone did. But anyways, it's sort of expected that if someone is to move in, that they will put on a party anyways. So there is a precedent there. I don't think
I'll just...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say, I'll just relay that information to Edward as he begins to ask it. And probably I'll also state, I don't know if it's to our best interest to even attempt with these hobbits. They will have a town meeting in 2 days' time, and we can discuss anything we need to at that point. If it needs to be taken up beforehand, I think our time is better spent elsewhere.
It's
a good point, but a party sounds kind of nice.
What are the
Maybe
kind of
for
things?
you.
What are the kind of things that can happen at a party?
Drinks?
Drinks.
I'm asking
We-
the authority on Hobbit procedure over here.
I think there's a definitely a tasting competition, and oftentimes there's a snoring competition, and a joke telling competition. Lots of competitions, but all in good fun, and no one even keeps record of who wins. They often party too long. I would say if we started a party now, it might continue up until the point of the meeting. So I really don't think a party with these hobbits would be
Okay,
the best
so-
party.
Well, I was thinking by that logic, a party now would be the perfect time because we got to get a meeting with them soon anyway, right? Might as well get it out of the way if we're supposed to have one, but I might be a little biased.
I
Warden
remember.
doesn't reply. He just goes and gets his fishing hook and salutes as he starts walking towards the river. He's like, whatever. You guys are wasting
Right
time.
by
I'm gonna listen to
Lace's
someone else."
parties. Yeah.
I remember, like, right at the beginning when we first got here and we were talking to Nob, he actually told us, "Okay, if you guys really want people to listen to you or like you got to throw a hoopla." I remember that too. Like, those were his words.
Right.
Almost 10 seconds.
Okay,
If
well,
there's a snoring competition, well, we probably don't want to use our wine sap, but I can speak from experience.
Which
I know how to win that competition.
all right. Well then, maybe that's what we need to do. Can we host a hoopla here in the big people's house? In Brandon's house? It's a hoopla host. Hoopla hosting.
Make a hoopla.
I'll go. I can take the job of inviting guests, but I'd like to not be involved.
So if the hoopla is the party, what do we call the big event in 2 days when we actually have the town meeting? Is that just a town meeting?
That's a public safety meeting, right?
Yeah. Which is, we want to have everybody on our side for that public safety meeting, right?
Well then, throwing a hoopla now would be perfect.
All right. How do you all go about doing that? How would you know how to even do that?
Well, let's get a hold of Knob.
No, maybe the puppeteers. I don't know. Would they be able to?
Well, yeah, but
advertise for a hoopla?
they're not a reputable.
That's true. They kind of look
that could
down.
turn into a hullabaloo.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe we
could.
could-
From
We could
hoopla to
get the Hill Dogs
hullabaloo.
involved. The Hill Dogs might be good guests to
Well,
entertain.
maybe the hoopla will center around the yes, hoopla. The hoopla will Can you hear my son?
No,
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay, he's on the other side of the webcam, so the directional mic might not be picking him up.
Hoopla! Hoopla!
My friends can hear you.
He's got the right idea.
Yes. So we make a contest, a
Hoopla!
hill dog match, the center of the evening, and we ask if maybe we can like simulate a battle with goblins as part of the match, you know, and maybe we can get the help of the puppeteers to I don't know. I someone else help me out here. I feel
See
like
a goblin throw a rock. That's what I've been trying to imprint on these.
Yes.
These
Yeah,
you know,
the puppeteers can make goblin puppets.
Yeah.
Which would be great
To throw
practice.
rocks.
all
dummies.
right. We'll set up a bunch of buckets
Maybe I'm just
here in
trying to
the
get you to think.
next to the goose yard here, and we'll have a throwing contest, and people can throw in rhythm to the song, which I will write, and the song will be called "See a Goblin Throw a Rock,"
Oh.
and
like
and we'll get them all to learn the chorus and to pick up rocks and throw them, and then you can say, when you see a goblin, you just start singing this song,
Hoopla!
and everybody will pick up their rocks and start throwing. How's it sound? All right, we got.
I think
So I'll.
See a goblin throw a rock, hit them in the head.
It's like
they're
a
not.
Disney song for sure.
yeah.
Has that beat to it.
So anyway, that's the best I've got on short notice. But
Okay, so you go get Knob at the
Yeah.
Matham house. Who? Okay, you go.
yeah, we'll do a hoopla tomorrow night.
You tell him that you bring him back to Brandon's house, and you tell Knob we want to do a hoopla tomorrow night.
Yes, we're gonna spend today spreading the word, getting people excited about it.
Knob nervously grabs both sides of his safety hat, and he's like, "Tomorrow night? We have to hurry. Oh, goodness. The first thing that we have to do is we have to announce it to the whole town, but I don't think you realize what's going to happen."
Well, let us know what's gonna happen.
Well, as soon as we announce a hoopla, the entire town's going to want to start nosing into your business. There'll be hobbits hanging out of these windows. And in the meantime,
Nothing to hide.
you have to the worst thing that could happen is setting up a hoopla that fails. If you want the hoopla to succeed, there's just things that we're going to have to do. You telling me about the puppeteer and the hill dog match ideas?
Yes.
He's like, now that's a good idea. That's a great idea, especially the music. And you can play other music throughout the.
Oh, I'll
the
be putting on one of my finest shows.
Oh, that's going to work great, but we're going to have food for all of the hobbits that are invited. At least 2 silver pennies per hobbit worth of food and treats and drinks and what else?
Yes. Well, all of it can be financed out of our good friends at the Silver Serpent or whatever the heck it's called.
The Order of the Serpent, and also you know what? We have at least one tavern in town that seems to owe us some favors, I'd say. If not both of them.
I say we host it. It's the biggest hoopla of all time. We host it out of both taverns, and both of them can showcase their.
We got one tavern with at least one ferry person who can maybe help with some fancy provisions, right? So
yes, indeed. We'll give them a little bit. We give the ferry just a drop of our new stuff.
So ferry. Well, we don't want to pass him out, but he owes us, right?
No, just a drop.
So out of character. So we're gonna try to do a hoopla. Okay. So I have I want to let you know, I have a mechanic for the hoopla up in front of me. So
of course.
I do. And so I want to warn you because I don't want to hide this from you. So here's how it works. For every successful preparation you make, of which there are 6 specific ones, you increase your chance of success 1 in 6. And your hoopla succeeds on a d6.
Okay, well, let's get all 6 of them.
So Knob tells you, he tells you the first thing that right away is we need to blow a horn and gather attention and announce to the whole town that there's going to be a hoopla tomorrow. It's a surprise hoopla from the big people, and not to miss it. It's going to be a big deal. And then for the rest of the day, and up until the event itself, you've got a ton of work to do. He says that if you spend at least 2 silver pennies per hobbit, then that's 1 in 6. If you can raise that to 5 silver pennies per hobbit, that's 2 in 6. The next thing is that you have to provide entertainment. So that means you need to go to the hill dogs and to the puppeteers. And that would be 3 and 6. You need to find decorations, 4 and 6. And basically try to provide some other kind of, a third entertainment for 5 out of 6. You have 2. And then the last thing he says is every hoopla has to have a big surprise that no one knows about. And that in and of itself would be 2 and 6. If you can actually pull off the surprise and no one finds out.
So that would be a 7 and 6 chance at that point.
Right, you would automatically succeed. But
not all these are givens, but we got lots of options, right?
But every time you go and try to do one of these, as you start to succeed, more and more hobbits are going to start meddling in your business.
Well, that's okay.
And you have to successfully do it.
Our whole life is being meddled with by hobbits. Really. It's a small price to pay. We're trying to save these people's lives here.
Okay. Knob's like, okay, when you're ready, I can go do it.
Ready, set, hoopla.
Yep.
Got an idea for entertainment for another thing.
Well, we got the puppeteers, we got the hill dogs, and we got me. Yeah. I'm a one-man show.
Yeah.
First step.
What else is a
announce, right?
Exactly. Let's go blow the horn, Knob.
Okay. Well, I want to hear Steve's idea, though. I mean,
I was going to say a goose chase. We can send Mildred out.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
they
yeah,
catch
yeah.
Mildred and bring back a golden egg, they get some kind of prize.
Well, with hobbits, the goose chase is the goose chasing you. It's not the other way around, obviously, but yes. It's a goose run.
We could also we could stash golden eggs around and have a game of find the eggs.
Oh, man. Well, they get mad when they don't like getting gold.
Too
It's
much
not
gold
real
is
gold, it's just
problematic,
an
yeah.
egg.
I can like make a decoration out of a fishing net and like tie flowers to it, and maybe train the raven to do a trick, but I don't know if that's feasible within a day's time.
Nob thinks about the old fishing shack with like the old fishing net and stuff, and he's like, that's nice, Warden, but you need to understand that I don't mean any offense, sir, but they have very high standards for decorations here. You wouldn't believe. I mean, you'll probably need to hire a decorator or a florist or somebody that you'll need to hire like a...
Listen, Knob.
Would
Send
golden
out-
eggs be helpful? I mean, they're not good for adding to trade. But is there
Gold!
something we could do with the golden eggs to like decorate with, even if we break them open? I don't know. Like, we don't want to add them to the economy, clearly.
Yeah, you decorate with gold, of course.
And I think this is fine. He points to his shack and like it falls down.
Yeah, right. Nob is like, oh no.
You said break them open, I immediately think of Mildred. I have another crazy idea. If we all kind of organize who's going to be going where and doing what, we need somebody to ring a bell or something so that everybody's in position. So when the bell rings, they're like, okay, so we're all throwing Hupla, we need you to do this. But everybody's already there.
What's the highest point in town that I can climb up and announce from? I've got to, like, thieves get
The
to climb
town hall.
stuff, right?
I would have thought it was the watchtower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is at the town hall.
I'm trying to think of it. What thief skills do I have? I don't have much, but I can climb
Oh,
stuff.
you mean
I
on
think
the
that's
wall? Yeah. I think the wall's too far off from the center of town. Yeah, you'd have to climb up the town hall. But not... So what were you going to say, Edward? You were going to say something.
Well, yes, we will hire everyone that we need to hire.
Oh, that's a
florist,
relief.
A decorator, whoever knows the best. We want only the best. Let it be known.
Oh, actually, I see what this is now. I understand. It's two things of entertainment. The third one is actually something out of character, which is really tough because we're online, but it suggests like actually bringing food for the table or something.
It's kind of hard to do when we're so
I know.
far away.
Or actually
Everybody
singing a
box of
song.
light cereal.
It also mentions a joke that makes everyone laugh, or something that actually works out metagame somehow. So, anyways, but okay. So you want Knob to go ahead and blare the horn and announce it? And is it?
Do it,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Okay. He nervously is muttering to himself as he leaves out for the town hall, and
Buck up, Knob. It's going to be the best Hupla of all time.
he's like, "Oh no, they just don't know. They don't know." And then he gets to the town hall, disappears. He climbs up to the top, and you hear a as a horn blows, an old horn from the Matham house. And he says, and all the hobbits actually stop, and some of them start to gather as a hubbub starts, and Knob declares at the top of his lungs from the top of the town hall tower. He says, hear ye, the big people at Brandon's house, hosting a hoopla tomorrow." And then he looks down at you all nervously and he says, "Everyone's welcome." And then like all the hobbits down below like start to cheer and mutter and talk to each other excitedly and stuff.
I wildly gesture at him to play it up. Keep going.
I want to climb up behind him as much as I can and yell out and cheer on the crowd. Yeah.
Okay, sure. What do you all say? You can do that. You all can get up there.
the greatest hoopla of all time.
Hoopla!
The greatest hoopla of
Hoopla.
all time. Okay. All right. Well,
All right, so to work.
yeah. Now, no big deal. But like now you have to actually do that somehow. So,
Yeah.
how would you like to begin?
I'd like to pour money over everything.
Pour money. Yeah. So,
we send out. We get all our hirelings here and send them out. Hire the best decorator.
Decorator, bakers, confectioners, brewers.
Send to both innkeepers.
how much silver? How many silver pieces do you have?
They made 3,000 available to us. We didn't spend it all. I think we still had. What do we have at the end of that?
I think
like
you all did
900
spend
something?
almost all of it.
We spent a big chunk of it. However, if we get them to forward the bill to the Serpent Order at the bank, because we've got, goodness, let's see, we've got 1,198 gold pieces and gems, still 446 gold pieces, and then 232, and that's 70 gold pieces worth of eggs. So that's a lot of silver.
What leverage do we have over that Fae that is helping Quinn over at the Golden Egg? Do we have anything on him? Because
I was genuinely suggesting that we give him a drop of that sap. I bet he'd love it.
The sap will knock him. I'm scared of knocking him unconscious in time for the hoopla.
He's a fairy.
Yeah,
this is true.
I mean, the satyrs are chugging it down.
We need him to produce stuff, though. I just don't want to knock him out. I like it, but...
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a good point. I don't know how we'd make sure of that exactly. I mean, we know he was drinking. He was drinking a bunch of the surplus, not surplus. He was drinking a bunch of that guy's ale by himself.
And it's currently late morning now.
Yeah.
I have
Well, anyway, either way, yeah. Let's set up these. I mean, we mentioned the entertainments. Let's go and contact the people. Let's contact the.
Anything the witch could do for us to make a hoopla awesome?
The who?
The witch.
The witch.
Is it hoopla today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow night, I think.
Scared to invite too many non-hobbits, I guess. So.
Really, all day tomorrow. Really, I guess is the idea. But, yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, so we sent out a hireling to get. Who do we need to contact? You know.
I guess both pubs.
Both pubs. Hire a decorator. Is a florist a separate thing to hire? How much do they cost to hire?
You asked Knob that?
Which
Let me actually look, because I'm pretty sure that, I mean, even if, well, let me look. Here we go. Someone just is now opening or trying to work on opening a floral shop. But anyways, and as far as and their other things are on the road sign because they always mention them. Let's see if there's anything here. Brewers, butchers, carpenters, chandlers, cooks, coopers, couriers, farmers, farriers. Seeing if there's anything like glass blowers, greengrocers, haberdashers. There's a knackers.
If there's a new flower shop, that's good because we could pay them in exposure.
Midwives, millers.
Well, we need to make sure that that the serpent guy is going to be willing to basically pony up the silver from our gold account.
Who is this silver guy? The silver serpent? What is
The serpent.
who is he?
Well,
The
it's
serpent?
the Order of the Serpent that's basically of the bank. It's like one of the only stone buildings in town.
The
Oh.
Exalted Order of the Serpent, I believe, yes.
So you want to go to the bank and speak with Fridolin Everard the Third?
He
Yep.
wants us to get a good word for him, so
Well,
I think it seems definitely in his interest to help us out here. He's
My
really been
idea
begging and
My idea would be to have a big sign as part of it and to freely announce that, you know, it was and graciously co-sponsored by the order, the excellent order, or whatever you call it, exalted order of the Silver Serpent.
Nob warns you. He says, "Look, I don't mean to speak ill of any good hobbit around here or anything, and please don't be spreading this around. But I have to tell you about Mr. Everard. That he's that strange group that he's a part of. They say that usually things come at a cost when you work with them. It's said that they're the ones that control all the currency and have kept the gold from inflating the economy. I suppose that's good. But well, he has a lot of leverage over businesses in town too. And him and his kind have been doing pretty good while the trade's been shut down with the dwarves.
he definitely wanted us to talk up in that meeting. Maybe we promised to talk him up bigger in exchange for this, because I don't know if we want to... The meeting that he wanted us to talk him up in seemed a little less public and more influence, maybe.
All right, so you all go to the bank?
What task you're
Yeah.
supposed to
Okay. You approach the bank. It's a big stone building. You still have to hunch when you come in. But the teller recognizes you as associates of the Order of the Serpent. And retrieves Mr. Everard, the owner of the bank. Everard comes out, Fridolin comes out, and he says, "Oh, it's my business associates again. It's good to see you. What can I do for you? I'm afraid I don't have very much silver left."
Well, we may need to call on what you have, my friend.
Oh, what's happened?
Well,
Let's do security.
we've announced,
Click the
what is it?
click.
A hoopla. You
We've
want our...
announced a hoopla.
Oh, a hoopla. Wow, I was so busy with work, I must have not heard it. A hoopla, then. Yes, you'll need quite a bit of silver. It occurs to me that another option, perhaps we could place all of this on credit, and I could finance it directly. Now, of course, I would want to see, you would understand, if you knew our organization, that there would need to be a benefit, of course, for my business, for the banking establishment here in Brandonsford.
You are trying to get our good word in that town meeting, right? Which we've agreed, of course, but any extra help will go a long way on getting that actual influence that you seem to ask for.
So what I'm
We
hearing
want to
is
do our best to secure you.
a sponsorship, then. That sounds lovely. You can tell them to place everything on credit. The Order of the Serpent will pay for everything.
Well,
He looks to the rest of the group.
Rashad shrugs at, but sponsored in part by the Order of the Serpent.
On a roof.
yes, we do feel that we want to actually be contributing to this as well, not just coming up with the idea. And we're willing to do so, of course.
Oh no, I will just provide the credit for whatever you come up with. And you can tell any business owner that on the word of Fridolin Evrard III, any goods or services will be paid for.
And you
Well-
can back that up.
Of course.
Right.
Well, he's got our gold in his vault.
He
Yes.
already has the collateral.
Yeah, the collateral is well taken care of.
Uh,
Well, my friend,
now this
that's-
will, of course, come out of your considerable
yes, that's understood.
account, but we will.
Look, our credit goes a long way, right? You have interest in us being successful as well, right?
Yes, of course. I think that this partnership will be fruitful for both of us. I'm hopeful that you'll overcome the issues out beyond the walls, and then I'm very excited about the future of Brandonsford.
Of course.
So are we. And thank you very much. That's why we came by. We have many preparations to attend to.
All right, so you all went into the bank, and when you did that, you could see that there were hobbits watching you as you went in, whispering, fussing amongst each other. And then you left the bank. Go ahead.
As everybody's leaving, Bashar just kind of hangs back and holds his gaze for 3 seconds, and then just goes, "You are invited," and then leaves.
With the hobbits, yeah.
With the bank guy,
Oh,
like just
okay.
in that weird, intense way that Bashar does things. He does want to make that guy know that he actually is invited.
All right. It is now early afternoon. What do
Should
you
we
do?
see the old ladies to get their
Well,
backing?
okay, so yeah, I mean, we need this. Did we send out our hirelings to go hire the best people?
The old ladies are the real power. That's what I'm.
Maybe
Yeah.
they can crochet us nice hats.
What I'm asking is if we can do one without the other. We have limited time, so we need to make use of our hirelings. And so, did we do that?
No. What is it that you
Okay.
want to do?
I want to tell Nob and our other two hirelings to go out and find the best. Tell them, like, we need to split the labor here. So,
It's like I think we probably need to see the old ladies who are the real power in person and try and make our best case because I don't trust anybody else to do it personally.
well, best case for what?
For supporting this hoopla.
Oh, well, the hoopla is happening one way or the other.
Yeah, but if the old ladies are against it, we failed. They're the real power here, right? The knitting
Gotta-
circle's the power. We want
Gotta
to.
ask them.
Yeah, if they do, if they say they're kind of shitting on it, we lose, right? They're the real powers that matter. Now we got advertisements in the puppeteers, but nobody really likes them. But they're good for getting word out. So that's more communication,
What is that
but
one?
maybe
What
not agreement.
What I'm
And we
saying
get-
is, Ross just said it's now early afternoon. It was late morning before. That means we have like a couple more things that we can do as a group, and and we need to like that should definitely be one of them. But we need to make sure that the hoopla is taken care of, whether or not the old ladies are cool with it. Like, we're not going to cancel it. We've announced
No.
it.
I think just, if we get their support and we get everything going forward, that's probably
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah. So let's us go to see the old ladies, and then we send our guys out to gather all the best preparation people that they can, trusting that they know what they're doing. Basically, Nob will be in charge.
Okay.
Yeah, between Knob, Ned, and Squints, we have decorations, drinks, and snacks.
Well, and then whatever else they can get to, and tell them what Frivolin told us. They're good for it because
Yeah,
So I think a
Right.
party, we need booze and we need the cool people supporting it.
yeah.
Those are the two biggest things that I think we need now. Is going to be
I
the
think we should
bars
split.
and the old ladies.
Yeah, I
And
said,
the
I
hill
That's my
said
dogs.
opinion.
the
Hill
bars,
dogs.
Mhm.
bars, and the hill dogs. I don't think the old ladies are a priority because well, as Chris said, that we're already doing it. So
Yeah.
even though it would be a benefit, I think we're too limited on time to
Okay,
try to
yeah, the old ladies.
split
I
our
think
time.
maybe I'm just saying.
Well, let's split
If
our
they
time.
shoot us down, we're dead in the water. I just
Yeah,
don't
I
trust
agree.
Well, vote
We don't
with
have
me.
time though. If
Yeah,
only we
well,
had more people.
Let's split up. You and me, Ben, will go see the old ladies, and
The hill
Bashar,
dogs, yeah.
Bashar, can you go to the hill dogs and dang it, I always forget your name.
Warden, yeah,
Warden.
yeah, Warden. I can go to the puppeteers.
Yes, thank you. And
Yeah.
and we'll trust our Hobbit hirelings to go to the Hobbit artisans that we need.
While I go to see the puppeteers, I'd like to train the raven to perch on my shoulder and just keep its beak open when I do a hand gesture. And that way I can impress the puppeteers with my puppeteering. Have the bird keep its beak open whenever I say something, and it'll make it look like ventriloquism, but not really.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. I was thinking, well, okay, yeah, that works.
Okay, so I have Knob for decorations, Ned and Squints for all of the food and services, Bashaw for Hill Dogs, Warden for the puppeteers, Ben and Ed were going to the old ladies. Okay, I'm going to resolve Knob, Ned, and Squints with a roll that you all cannot see. And then we'll start with Bashaw. Bashaw, you go out to the club space out on the western end in the shades of large trees where there's just this kind of open field where the hill dogs do their practices and their scrimmages. And you hear that the sound as you approach of the hoop, 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 of like, you know, like as they kind of punctuate, the different moves and stuff. And they're dressed very well. I assume Bashaw is not.
No.
And they're playing. They as you approach and practicing and clapping and being like, good shot, hup, hup, and then, you know, beating each other with hammers and things like that. And
right.
And let's see, you have this many hobbits approach you. 3. Let me find something real fast. Page 60. Interesting. And no, they wouldn't do that. Sorry, I did not. Here we go. And these hobbits are concerned with the following. 9 and 6. Okay, so you start to well, first of all, you get to the field. Hill dogs are playing, and 3 hobbits approach you. 2 of them young men hobbits. One of them rather portly, and then across from the field, another hobbit is approaching. What do you do?
These aren't hobbits from the croquet guys, are they?
No.
Okay. Bashar just kind of like walks around them and keeps moving forward.
All right. Make a dexterity check. You're going to encounter one of them.
Success.
A success. All right. So one of them is coming up, and from the distance, he's like, excuse me, sir, excuse me. And then you're just like, turn and just start walking away from him. And
it's
then,
like when a cat, you try to pet a cat that doesn't want to be pet, and they just kind of turn into a liquid underneath you. Yeah.
Yeah. And meanwhile, there are these other two hobbits. They're already like right there. Okay. So they're these young hobbit men. One of them's portly, and they're already like right there, like under your feet. Speaking of cats, like, and one of them's like, excuse me, Miss Big Person, and they keep trying to bow, and they keep getting in your way, and kind of like just tumbling around you as you purposefully trying to get past them and get to the sports team. I hate to say it, but I wondered if you could help me with something because I you look like you would know how to handle a situation, and I one of those people, the hobbits there, the Ponto, and he points toward the biggest hobbit. Ponto looks almost like the size of a dwarf, and he's like, well, I'm not on this team, sir, and I don't play these sports, and I don't do these sorts of things, but he still whopped me with a hammer because he thinks it's funny. And, well, I've seen what you've done outside of town, and I'm just wondering what could you help me with that? Do you have any advice for a hobbit like me? He's being bullied by someone on the team.
Shaw just kind of like looks at him for a bit, hands him a knife, and then just keeps walking towards.
He's like, well, I'm not really hungry, to be honest. Excuse me, sir. And he keeps like just getting underneath your feet. And you can make another dex check. You only have to pass one more. But if you fail, something bad happens. You just have to pass one more. All right, good. Okay, so you're doing a whole maneuver, like you're walking away from one hobbit, and then these two other hobbits, and they get up all up in your business, and you do like a spin. You're able to get past them. You make it to the team. All right, so you made it to the team, and to where Wazo is, and now all the other the jocks in town. What do you do?
All right, walk up to them and kind of greet them. Say that was an excellent play that you performed just now. Very good. Yes, we are throwing a Hupla, and we would like you to play at our Hupla.
What's your charisma modifier?
It's a 9. It's not
okay. Yeah. One of them is like, hello there. I'm Holman. He's quite a little bit of an older chap. It's got like distinguished looking chops and everything. But for an athletic hobbit, a bit older. And he says, I'm afraid that we've got quite a busy schedule. Have you cleared this with the team captain? You could schedule if you'd like, if you want to get on the schedule, or if you have a team to compete with. Have you already spoken with the club?
I would very much like to speak with the club.
Oh, we can definitely pencil you in next week. I think that we could probably arrange a meeting with the club head starting sometime on Monday.
Well, it's very important I do it now for you. See, and he kind of leans in. It's for a hooplow.
A hooplow?
A hooplow.
Sir, do you mean a hoopla?
Hoopla. That's what I said the whole time.
Ah, yes. You do have a strange accent. I don't mean that. I mean to say that you have an interesting accent, and, a hoopla, well, that's quite bothersome. And then there's like two other hobbits standing there, and they're like, that's quite bothersome, because if you have a hoopla and it occurs tomorrow, that's going to be right in the middle of our scrimmage. Oh, we can't have that. We have a game. We can't have people that were going to. There were going to be people supporting the team.
Perfect solution.
What is that?
Do all of this at the Hupla.
Lose the home field advantage.
The whole field is the home field now. That's your home, right? It kind of points over. And it has fields.
He just has a confused look. Bondabras, I don't know what this man is on about. I don't understand what he's saying at all. He's saying that all the fields are our fields or something like that. Now look here. This is where we play our matches. We work very hard here. Why in the world would we want to move it over there into that hard dirt? We would lose all.
Okay, so we should host it here. I understand. Yes. So we'll host it here.
You'll host the
yes,
Hupla
very
here.
Good. That's perfect. Yes, thank you. That's great. That's exactly what I was coming here to hoping to do. Thank you so much.
You're going to tell everybody just to put it on the scrimmage field like the Hupla. Have like an outdoor event. Yeah. I forgot to mention the weather. Don't worry. I checked, and the weather is very nice. So you all have had a tremendous luck with the weather this past week, and so it's a clear sky, clear autumn sky, and it feels like it'll probably be that way tomorrow. So that's good news. You just walk away with that, and he's like, "Wait, what? Hold on."
Bashar kind of like leans in and he says,
"What are we going to do about this?"
He says, "You have made this to be the best Hupla ever, and everybody in town is going to know that you did this. This is you." And he kind of gives him a little
I know
thing on the arm. You're wonderful. You are the best. And then he just walks away.
He's flustered. But
turns around while he's walking away. Outstanding.
whether they like it or not, you've solved that problem and created one for them.
Okay, outstanding in his field.
Yes.
It's
terrible. It's terrible, but it's good.
Deducted.
That was my offering for the out of character.
That counts. That counts. You win. 1 out of 6. Okay. All right. Moving on to Warden. So you make your way to the north edge of town where the puppeteers are.
Yes.
And let me see what they're doing a puppet show about. Let's see here. Okay. And one other one. You can tell, you can see maybe why some people don't like especially the matronly order of good manners, does not appreciate the acting troupe and the puppeteers because they're putting on a puppet show of a tragic event. These are truth sayers. They're saying it like it is, and the show is of years past harvest festival, where a young hobbit child left the walls and was never heard from again, and that's the story of the tragedy that's going on that they're showing.
Does this look like the show will be a long time, or does it look like it will end shortly?
It will end shortly, but you're able to surmise that's what's going on, and it's obvious to you, like the Hobbits. This isn't the sort of thing they talk about,
Right.
And so then here these puppeteers are just like outright just talking about that, and then they're starting another show as you come and you're seeing this. They're about to start another show, and it's clear to you that the other show is also going to make fun of people, and not you all, but hobbits contemporarily, like people in town. So
right.
that's what's going on.
I'll sit through the first show, and as they're getting ready, I'll try to approach them, and wave them down.
Okay.
Probably like a approach with like a clap or a soft applaud. At the end of the first showing.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to get their attention. I think I have her name as my notes. Man, I've got an idea how to fix this. Papo is the name I have for her. The female hobbit. And she sees you when you approach, and she says, "Oh, it's the big people again. Look at this."
Warden quickly holds a finger and says, I'm not just the big people. I'm a fisherman, part of your community here at Brandonsford.
They laugh.
All right. I wanted to say that your show earlier reminded me of my time from outside of these walls, and it was very touching.
She says, "Oh, thank you. Go ahead."
You all are very skilled puppeteers, and I would like to cordially invite you all to our Hupla, hoping that you will perform and cause some entertainment. Though your entertainment may not akin to the tastes of all hobbits here, we, the big people and myself, find it very entertaining and would love for you to come and perform for us.
All right.
And at what point he would, like halfway through that sentence, he would gesture to the raven on his shoulder and his puppeteering, as he called it.
So I'm going to say that that's possible, but
Okay.
I'm going to give it at a minus or a +2 to the result, or a d20.
Okay. Just want me to roll a d20, or do you want to roll the d20?
You would roll it, and this is to get under your charisma.
Okay. Gotta check on my charisma. Charisma of 12. Okay.
Charisma.
Well, that's under a 12. That's 2.
That works. All right, so I'm going to modify the reaction roll. That works. She looks very intrigued, but as you're talking to her, and Dave, good to see you, Dave. We're right in the middle of like a bunch of stuff in town, so I don't know if I can get.
All right, I just hanging on.
Yeah, no problem. So she looks very intrigued, but as you're talking to her, two hobbits approach, and somehow the other hobbit, I mean, your character wouldn't know this, but the chubby one has made it over to the other end of town, being kind of rebuffed from one of the big people, has found another big person. He's like, excuse me, sir. Excuse me. I could use some help from a big person. I'm being hit with a hammer, and I think I've heard that you're good at that. And then a group of female hobbits come up, and they're like, they start saying, "Oh, we've heard that you have a Hupla, and I insist that you include our bread." And then another one is like, "I know that you're the town fisherman, but we haven't had a lot of fish, and I would like to know where the fish are, because I went to the market today, and I didn't see a lot of fish at market, and I want to let you know that every morning it's the kippers. That's what I really look forward to every day, and it starts this, like, commotion. So now it has arisen to a hubbub nearby you.
I will slightly bow to the puppeteers and say, excuse me, move over to the fish question and kind of hold out my hand to them. And he says, thank you for addressing me as fisherman. I take my pride in my work quite seriously. However, I believe there is a dragon out and about which has been eating all the fish. Thus is making fishing very difficult.
Well, now that just sounds like quite a bit of excuses to me, sir. And I don't mean to be so rude about it, but I would really like my kippers. It wasn't just 2 days ago.
I will work on it, he says. And then he goes to the next lady and says, may I taste and sample your bread?
She's like, well, at once, follow me. And she wants you to follow her to her bakery.
No, bring me some bread and I will taste it. I am busy at this time. As you see, we are playing in a hoopla, as you are well aware.
At this, like the what's happening is Papo, the puppeteer, this is very awkward.
Yes,
and she's sort of like backing away, and like she's going to start the show soon if this isn't,
he turns quickly, noticing, and he says, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I would just like your answer, whether or not you can perform for us.
Meanwhile, the hobbits are like, no, sir, I'm sorry. We were speaking. I was asking about the kippers.
He begins
and
to
then the chubby one. The chubby one's like, I could really use some help. I just have heard that you all know how to deal with these sorts of situations, and I tried to speak to one of the other big people.
He turns quickly, grabs him by the chubby cheeks, and says, my sympathies to you, dear child. Even though he's probably a fully grown person. And then he turns back, and he goes, Papo, madam, dear, please.
It's going poorly. So, and I rolled for the number of situations that it starts to escalate. So the way this is my whole prep. Obviously, I need to prep more because I need to get the NPCs down. But I won't show this part. But I have like the date, the weather, and stuff. And then I have a chart here that is like the Grand Theft Auto star system. That's just like it goes up from fuss to hubbub to hoopla to hullabaloo. And anyways, currently a hubbub. And not a good one. So a charisma check with minus or with a +2 to the result. And if you pass, then you'll be able to just get a word in edgewise to the puppeteer.
Okay.
And if not, she's
rolled though. I rolled 2 already. You want me to roll again?
Yes.
Okay. Suspenseful now.
I know. This is a task chain. This is for the hobbits, to be clear. This is like, so you got her. She's happy. Did you make it?
What did you say it was +2?
+2, yeah.
Well, a +2 would make it a roll of 11 against my 12.
Nice. Okay, yeah, you make it. So what happens is like all these hobbits are just creating, a hubbub, but you're like my sweet child, and like you push them away, literally like force like a wave of hobbit, nonsense, and you just rise above it physically to get to her. What do you say to her?
I say, please, we would really be at need of your attendance.
Oh, to the hoopla. To the hoopla. Yeah. She says, oh, well, sure. That sounds great. What sort of performance do you want us to put on?
Ask Edward when you see him, because he might coincide with performances.
Ah. Well, there's not very much time to prepare, but I do like improvisation. That sounds fun. And then they go back.
As I say, I had an idea of imitating goblins and making goblin puppets. I believe that was discussed.
Oh, yeah. She's like, I love that. And she's like, all right, team, we're going to start to work right now on getting and making goblin puppets.
But no mischief, please. And then he turns over to try to address his. He's crowded by storms of angry or disgruntled hobbitses.
Yeah, and you do that, and you have accomplished your task. But 7 more hobbits show up.
Jeez,
and we're not
7
gonna,
hobbits.
Yeah, we're going to pan the camera.
Jeez, at that die off screen. Trampled by a mob.
Yep. All right, Ben and Edward.
Yes. The sewing circle.
You go to the old lady's house. Let's see here.
Music change.
Maybe something like this.
Getting serious.
Maybe something like this. It's too evil. I need something. I need like maybe like this. And then that one's not going to work. Great. That's weird enough. Okay. You approach the house. It's like a big country home, except hobbit-sized. And there's a big wraparound porch and everything. It's all very homey. And you, what do you do, actually?
Think we knock politely?
Yes.
You hear a sweet, gentle, but consistent and clearer voice say, "Come in."
I'll open the door and walk in respectfully.
There's an old hobbit lady in here. There's no knitting circle, and she's instead in a kitchen preparing food. She says, "Oh, it's the big people again. How lovely to see you today. Please come in. Please take some tea. Take a load off. Take a seat."
Is there anything we can do to help prepare for...
Oh, no, don't worry, dearie. Please. What
Is there any place that's actually possible for us to sit down?
It is hobbit-sized, but, you can uncomfortably sit.
Yeah, it's kind of squatted, knees way up.
Yeah. Well, madam, I'm sorry. I don't know if we've been introduced, actually. I'm Edward.
Yes. Edward. What a lovely name. My name is Ingletrude. What is your name? And she's just like a really grandmotherly, sweet old lady.
And he's like, it's Ben. The name's Ben.
Oh, Ben. Well, please, I actually have just been working on some treats. I hope you don't mind trying them. Let me set out some tea for you. And she brings out some tea. It smells amazing. The treats smell delicious also. And she's working on some treats to go with your tea.
Well, madam, surely you'll want to know why we're here.
Oh, I thought perhaps you just wanted to come visit Ingletrude. I was so happy to see you today.
Yes, well, it is delightful.
Yes,
but
oh, go ahead.
No.
I'm on time.
We are putting on a Hupla.
Oh, why, that just sounds lovely.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you think so. We just wanted to make sure everything was okay with everybody and that we have the full support of the village of Brandonsford, and so we thought visiting you might help.
We wouldn't want to presume to have a hoopla without, your permission or, guidance.
Oh, to come and ask old Ingletrud for permission. Well, does this mean that you're inviting me?
By all means, I hate to think that you had your own hoopla or event and that we were conflicting with. That would be horribly rude. And it was only polite to make sure that there was not some other event that you already had planned. Otherwise, I would be so embarrassed.
That is so kind of you. Yes, people rarely come and visit me anymore sometimes. I understand. Times are very hard for people right now. And I worry about them so. But I haven't held a hoopla since my younger days. But it's very kind of you to invite me.
Should we have a hoopla in your honor? I mean, wouldn't want to presume, but you seem like a most respectful hobbit.
Oh, well, I wouldn't want to impose like that. I would rather not. But I would love to come by and see it. It sounds like a wonderful reason to come outside and enjoy the beautiful sunny weather here in the late fall.
Well, and you say you haven't been to a hoopla in a long time?
No.
Well, how long ago since you've been to a hoopla, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, probably at least 5 or 10 years.
Well, madam, I know you want to be you want to be modest, but allow us to come and get you in time for dinner. We'll bring you to the dinner table at what's the name of that other tavern? The one with the good stuff.
The previously good tavern was the Clumsy Fox. It's got the good booze and stuff. The Golden Egg, the booze is suddenly very, very good. So both of them have really good. They have the Foxtail Brew at the Clumsy Fox.
Well, we'll do dinner at the Golden Egg, and we would be most honored if you would be the guest of honor.
That is very kind of you. Do
you think that your fellow villagers would be surprised?
Oh no, I don't suppose so. Well, this sounds lovely. I will see you then at.
No, I mean pleasantly surprised. Like they wouldn't have expected it.
Who can say? But it would be wonderful to see everyone. She has this strange smirk on her face. And she's like,
Boy.
Yes, well, I suppose I will see you at 5 o'clock then. But in the meantime, please enjoy these. And she sets out some things that are like Danishes. And they smell amazing. Buttery and sweet.
Well,
what if we were to feature your treats as prizes for contest winners?
She waves her hand, and she's like, No. My treats come from the heart. They're not a prize. It's just meant to be enjoyed. And then she just turns away, like dismissing the idea.
Rabbi's going to eat one of them just to see if anything weird.
It tastes... It's probably the best tasting kind of like what would you call it? Yeah, pastry type of thing that you've ever tasted. Yeah. The Rat Bite Ben is suddenly living the high life. Like he's went from like the gutters of
he is loving this. Like, oh, it's this looks decadent and amazing. He's like, oh yeah, this is, and he's just like, by all means, this is the highlight of any. The Hupla should be in your honor after the tasting of this.
So,
you grace us with your food.
She asks you how well you are, how well you've been eating, what you've eaten lately. She asks about Brandon's house. She asks about fine details about the furnishing and the decoration of Brandon's house. She asks about the quality of the pines and trees that you found on your way through the forest north of here. These are the things that she talks about, and she keeps your company for as long as you'll offer it.
What does she say if we start talking about goblins?
She's like, yes, there are things out in the forest. I've heard awful things. Why? I heard that there were people that were hurt here recently. Just awful. And then otherwise she seems to deflect from the subject.
Okay.
Yep, we're doing our best to stop those awful things.
Just to be clear, you'd like us to pick you up here at 5 and bring you to the dinner table?
That sounds lovely.
Well, madam, your company is absolutely charming. The treats are the best I've ever had. But we have further business to attend to if it's to be a proper hoopla.
I see. Well, very well then. Thank you so much for coming and visiting me. Please come again very soon, won't you?
Not just for the hoopla. Especially if you would offer more of these exquisite pastries. And is there anything else that you could ask for that would really make the hoopla, to your standards of the quality of your goods that you presented?
What's your intention? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
I'm trying to see if I can get anything that she would like us to do. I'm just trying to think of I'm trying to talk her up, talk her goods, and kiss her ass and see if there's anything else that would be impressive. A lot of ass kissing.
Yeah, she seems to kind of deflect the ass kissing and just receive it generously. But in response to the pastries, she says, when you said that, if you could have these, then you'd visit, she says, anytime, dear, anytime at all. And I would be happy to. Have a wonderful evening. And she closes the door behind her. It just seems like you just had a visit with a really kind of grandmotherly old hobbit lady.
Okay, well, that was our task.
Yeah. Okay. Then.
What's next?
All right. Let's see here. Just say that Tharnlin, you can join Ben and Edward.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to roll for Knob, Ned, and Squints. Let's see how they do. They do really well. And when you reconvene, Knob says, I found a woman in town who can provide decorations on short notice, but it's not going to be cheap, I'm afraid. I told her that you said that so long as they contact the bank that it's all paid for and that it's financed.
That is true.
And Ned is like, yeah, I said the same thing. I went over down to Bentley, and then we went and talked to Quinn after that. And they're going to provide all the booze and the food you can imagine for the whole town. But it's not going to be cheap. It's a lot of money.
How much?
Let me see here. It's going to be 5,000 silver for decorations, all of the arrangements, all of the seating, furnishings, all of it to be moved, the workers, tents, and food from both taverns, and drink.
Perfect.
For every hobbit in town. It'd be 5,000 silver pieces. Which I think you all have plenty of, with regard to gold at least.
We do.
Yeah.
From the count that Steve gave earlier. Okay. So the only thing that remains is, so what we'll do, part of it has to be, we do need to incorporate the hill dogs. so we definitely need to set up some stands and things like that round their field, so that whatever their normal scrimmage time, we spend like an hour or two before their scrimmage time with announcing, the legendary match that will be that will be held, and just gussy up everything around their regular field and let them do their thing.
All right.
Hopefully the audience will inspire them to some feats of,
Yeah. Oh wow, this is another thing that I take from. I will do this thing that it says too. You can assume that as part of that, you can take the seating and things in such a way that people can observe the game as well, of course, as part of that price. Okay, so the last thing I have then, and you don't have to do this, per se, is Nob says, well, it sounds like everything's coming together, and we already have workers arranging things. Both taverns are cooking in preparation to the extent they can. Once the scrimmage starts in the afternoon, the festivities will start. Edward, you said that you'd be putting on a performance. I gotta say, I think this might work. I think that you all might pull off a proper Brandonsford hoopla. But the only other thing is that a good hoopla always has a surprise.
I think I've lined up a surprise.
Okay. In order for it to be a surprise, no one can find out.
No one can find out, you say?
Well, then it wouldn't be a surprise.
Right. Who's no one? No one but me?
Well, if it gets out among town, one hobbit will know, and then 4, and then 12, and then 50. And then the whole town will know by the morning.
Well, we'll just have to do our best.
All right. Well, what's the surprise?
I'm not going to tell you.
That's good. All right. Now I'm excited, Nob says. All right, so Edward has a surprise. We don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
Do you want to know what it is?
No, I don't. I want it to be a surprise. Otherwise, it's not a surprise.
Okay.
All right.
I explicitly mentioned it in conversation, but if it went through in one ear and out the other, that's also fine.
It has to be a surprise. It can't just be. I heard like different forms of entertainment, but this has to be like a surprise. Like it has to be
right.
Very unexpected. So.
Right.
Okay. And yes, I may have missed it, which is fun. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Okay. So it is now early evening.
How much is the surprise worth? Is that 1 out of 6?
1 out of 6, yes.
Okay, how many out of
Or
6
no,
do
no,
we
no.
have?
I think it was. I think I said that was 2 out of 6. If it's a good surprise, it has to be good though, and
Okay.
they cannot be found out.
Right.
So what are we up to now?
Well,
We got
Yeah, what are we up?
you spent more than 5 silver on every guest for drinks and the provender. You spent money on the entertainment, or I'm sorry, you provided entertainment and 2 different forms of it. You've financed the decorations and the actual infrastructure of the party. You have a surprise, and somebody said something that made me laugh. So,
so we win.
yeah, well, we'll see. Because if any of these elements fail for some reason, then I'll roll. Okay, so it's currently early evening, and everything is prepared, which is kind of miraculous. So now
I want to leave. Well, I want to make sure that there's a main dining table at which all the big people will be, along with all the major figures in town that we've. I mean, Rortrude and Serpent Man, and who else would be a?
Should we get the Matham House involved, or
Um.
I mean, sounds
Actually, here's. Okay.
I'm gonna fix these notes next time. Ah, here it is.
I need to find some peasants, some like regular old. What was that lady? What did you say? What was her name?
Ingletrude.
Ingletrud. What was she wearing? Just regular clothes, or was she wearing anything particular fancy? Notable.
A comfortable floral print dress.
Was it? But was it notable? Like
No.
Okay.
Most of the time, another thing that you've noticed about hobbits is they definitely treat people differently depending on how they dress. Like like for example, they don't treat Ned and Squints well at all. And dressing well is a huge deal to them. So usually when they're out and about, they also dress well.
Okay.
Nob even wears a waistcoat when he's traveling through the wilderness on an adventure, just because he figures that's what he's supposed to do.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to Ingletrude's house. Did you hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. And I'm going to say, guys, I'll be back later. And I'm going to go over to Ingletrude's house.
Okay. What are you going to do at Ingletrude's house?
Well, I'd like to speak to her again.
Okay. Let me see if she why did that not roll? Let me try it again. There we go. Okay. She answers the door. She's like, "Oh, hello, dear. It's good to see you again. Is something wrong?"
No, not at all, not at all. May I come in just briefly?
Well, I plan to retire. It is evening. I plan to retire soon, but of course you can come in. Of course. And she just leaves the door open for you.
Okay.
And she
I'll
goes
close
and
it.
sits down.
I'll close it behind me, and then I'll whisper. I have an idea.
An idea? I don't know what you mean, sir. It's probably the coldest thing you've ever heard her say.
Oh. I wonder, would you be willing to secretly work in the kitchen for about 2 hours before the dinner begins?
I just want to make sure I understand. You came to invite her to work in a kitchen?
Now, because, dear lady, then it will be revealed that the delicious treats, and of course everything, and I know, and I don't mean to impose, everything you do is from the heart. But I know that your heart must be just so full for all of the people of Brandonsford, all of these lovely hobbits and young and old, men and women, children. We want this to be the most special, the most memorable, the greatest Hupla in memory, in living memory. And who could forget, having tasted the things we tasted just today, and then for it to be revealed that they were prepared by Ingiltrude, who is the guest of honor. Do you understand?
What's your intention? Just so I make sure I understand.
My intention is for her to be the guest of honor, and then for it to be revealed. That's the surprise, Ross.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's a surprise, but he's not even making it a reveal to her that it's the surprise. That's what's great about this.
I'm trying not to.
I want you to be secretly be the surprise without telling her, hey, this is going to be their surprise.
Oh, man. Okay. What happens instead is another voice echoes from down the hall of this hobbit house and says, Ingiltrude, I believe it is time for us to retire for the evening. And then you hear a dark voice go, hello. And Ingiltrude says, that's very kind of, I'm glad to know that you like my Danishes, but I don't think I can do that for this party. Maybe some other time. I'm so tired. Please excuse me. And then she departs.
Okay. Well, it'll have to be her.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that you want to do this evening in Brandonsford?
Well, yeah, I need to desperately. I need to make sure the surprise thing is taken care of.
What about to hear from Warden? What do you think? So Warden, by the way, no one's checked on poor Warden, but you have managed to eventually get away from the throngs of hobbits who have taken an interest in you, and you were able to make it back with everyone to kind of talk about the summary of the plans. What do you do this evening?
I think I do my best to make myself presentable for them. I think Warden has never once ever thought about the way that his hair looks or his beard being unkept, or even the garments that he wears, unless it protects him from the elements. But at seeing these hobbits and the way that they could treat others, and dealing with the bullied young lad, I think it would become apparent to Warden that maybe for once appearances could change the outcome of his survivability. So I think that's what he's going to do. I think use a razor and the reflection of water to tend to himself and make himself presentable. And then I think he might be able to help Edward out too by like keeping a sackcloth over his head, and that being the surprise. As he reveals, I can reveal my new look as the surprise. But I don't know. That's a terrible idea. I literally just thought of that as I said it. But yeah, he's definitely going to try to clean up. That's what I'm
checking to see if there's a. Okay. Let's see. You try to clean your face up and your beard and things like that.
And my hair, yeah. Be my own barber.
There are people in town that do these things, but
yeah, they probably cost money and time. And
they do. They cost money and time, yes. But if you want to do it yourself, I think it's going to be very difficult for someone like Warden to do that. So I'm going to say,
probably, yeah.
It's going to be a intelligence check at a +4 result.
Nice.
But if you pass, you get a snazzy haircut out of it. That sounds like something really hard for Warden to pull off.
Yeah.
Maybe dexterity.
I have to get a 5. I have to get a 5 or lower.
Okay.
For it to be. So I'll go ahead and roll. Worst case scenario, I cut myself up.
Well,
I got an 8, so it's not great.
You don't cut yourself up, but you definitely don't know how to give a proper Hobbit haircut. So you just end up with a really weird haircut.
It's a perfect bowl cut.
Yeah. All right. What about Ben? What is Ben doing?
Ben, after all this, I think Ben wants to, if it's getting late in the evening, Ben is going to try and just talk it up at the bar at the Hupla. He was going to try and, he may bar hop a little bit between the two bars just to see which one has got the biggest crowd. But he's definitely wanting to make sure both bars are going to be contributing wares and drinks as paid for by the Order of the Serpent. And also, he's just trying to get the word out and talk it up in the crowd.
All right, you verify that yes, Ned and Squints did a great job. They went ahead to the bars. They've arranged everything. Bentley and Quinn are both on board, and they're already preparing things. They're enthusiastic about this. They've been told that they can forward this to the bank and get paid for all of it. And so they're super excited, and it's all looks like it's above board, and it's going good. As far as at the which bar do you start with? The Clumsy Fox?
Yeah, that was the one that did not have the fade thing, right?
Yeah.
Which one had? Yeah, I'll start there.
Okay. When you enter the bar, you get some nods from some familiar people. For example, George Bilberry is in here, the hunter. He raises his stump, and salutes you. And then other hobbits are just eager to talk to you. As soon as you sit down, as soon as you order something, whoever you sit down with to talk to, doesn't matter. Like this other hobbit comes up and is like, "Oh, hello there. I've heard of you. You've been one of the big people.
I am, yep.
What do you think about this weather today? What do you think's been? I think it's been really strange how good the weather's been around here." And then
it has been strange. Yep.
Within a short order, another hobbit comes in and pushes this other hobbit out further down on the bench. And is like, "You've been the big person. I've heard about
Sure
you.
am.
Yeah. You know, I could really use your help one of these days. I've got see, there's this dog, and I'm sure you know what a problem dogs are for hobbits. It's been digging around in my garden, and it's just really caused a lot of stress for me, you see. And
To hear that, I have a solution. Drinks are on me tonight, or they're on the bar tonight, or on the. And I'm gonna order all the drinks to the bank.
you announce that, and that you're ordering drinks for everybody?
Yeah, and in anticipation of the Hupla tomorrow, drinks are on me, which are actually on the bank.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
I'm
It's the pre-Hupla.
Let me see how much money that is.
Yeah.
Which are on me, which is actually on the bank, which is actually on me.
Yes. They're like, hey, we're going all out. Let's go all out, right?
That would be 1,200 silver pieces if you paid for everybody drinking tonight.
Yeah, so
for
like
food
Ben
and libations.
with drinks is, that's one of his flaws. Yeah.
All right, they do that and they cheer, and you have even more hobbits approach you until eventually, like, everybody's just trying to get your attention about things.
Trying to chalk up this Hupla. Yeah.
All right, let me see. What do you say? Like, you stop them and just. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll be back. Got to take the dog out. Be back in a couple.
Okay.
Well, when people start talking about their problems, then I'm just going to exaggerate or emphasize. I have a solution for your problem right here. Drink.
Oh, you try to get them all drunk.
Well, if anybody, when it comes to if anybody has a problem, I'm going to advocate the solution.
I'm going to be clear. That's every hobbit. Every hobbit wants to fuss. So it's a lot of drinking and a lot of money, but you could do it. But you could do it. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, you get every hobbit drunk, and this works. I'm going to be clear. So that's 2,400 silver pieces. You get every hobbit drunk. There are two results from this. One is that it creates a hoopla as they start getting loud and boisterous. I mean, all the hobbits, here are drinking. Second of all, how then do you take these drunk hobbits and try to? How are you trying to? You said your goal is to try to get them to try to talk up the hoopla. So.
Yeah. There's more where that came from tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, that works. All right. I will add a +1 reaction.
One more
Double
thing.
Hupla, that's awesome.
Yeah.
One more thing I want to do tonight, if it's a possibility, is noting that the weather has been unusually fantastic. In anticipation of things being not so well on the day of our Hupla, to ensure the safety and satisfaction of all of our guests, I would like to set up some additional tarps and tents and shelters so that rain or shine, we still have a great time.
Okay. How do you do that? How would you get things like tents?
I think we've already paid for the structures, right?
Okay.
That was part of the decoration.
You're going to set the site up in advance, take out a lantern, and under lantern light, try to check out the tents and do all the work and stuff. Okay. Yeah, you do that. And remind me if anything happens with regard to the tents or the actual infrastructure of the party. Don't let me forget that you did that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about Bashaw?
Probably kind of slipped into the pub and is also drinking.
All right. Thornlin,
Probably just in the back in the dark.
Okay. Well, I'm going to see if the hobbits notice you. No. You're able to stride her over there in the corner, mercifully. Whether an imposing deportment or whatever it is, hobbits don't approach you, and you're able to have some peace. Probably
He's
for the
not even
first
doing it
time
on
today.
purpose. He's kind of got that, like, slunk back, sinister look, and he's just like, yeah, this is great. Okay. Yeah, that's nice.
All right. So, Dave.
What a good rest.
Basically.
Yeah, but, well,
Sorry. Edward, the character, Chris's character, proposed that what needed to happen was there needs to be a meeting now, because there's a meeting in 2 or 3 days where they said there's going to be like a town hall meeting, and the Matronly Order of Good Manners is going to propose a public safety initiative, which is how they frame, hey, goblins are going to attack the town, let's do something about it. But that's like in 2 or 3 days. Let's see. I'm hearing your guitar. I'm sorry, I can't.
sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. First of all, I'm over there with everybody else, and Darwin always dresses like a fop anyway. Just to let you know, his stuff. He's always presentable out there. Red beard, and his cloak, So he's presentable, no question about it.
Okay, cool. So
So he's
chilling
noticeable
with the
out
shop.
there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The night passes, and it is the next morning. The morning of the scrimmage field. It has all the tents set up and everything, and people are bringing out floral decorations and streamers and ribbons, and food is for the scrimmages is starting to get brought out for the day. The scrimmage, everybody watches that, and that with the food, I think combined together draws an audience. So the Hill Dogs love this, right? So they have an audience, because no one cares about the Hill Dogs, not really, So now all of a sudden they have an audience, and between the drinking and the food and everything, the hobbits are happy, and the evening comes and it approaches 5 o'clock.
You go get.
I'm back.
But I think we should do it with like a proper litter and like actually
No.
pick her up.
Don't forget the.
No, she's the surprise.
So we disguise her.
She hasn't been to a Hupla in 5 to 10 years, she said. Which means
So we could disguise her with the wolf pelt that we have. I think it's a terrible idea. She probably hate it, but it's an idea.
there's got to be just a cloak and a hood, that we can get.
Yeah, that'd be reasonable. Yeah, but it's not a wolf pelt.
We can take the cart. And a few of us can have the cart covered and just be like really careful as we're going in, trying to make it obvious that we're trying not to be obvious. And then everybody will be looking over at the cart while you and the old hobbit lady can kind of sneak in. Can make a fuss to distract from the surprise.
Yes, and then... But then we need to put attention back on the surprise.
All right.
So you just make sure and wait until I've got her escorted over to the guest of honor spot. And then at a signal from me, pre-prepared fanfare will be played, and she will be revealed, and then I will begin playing my show and talk about how much the warmth and sweetness of her heart is the warmth and sweetness of Brandonsford itself, and go on like that.
So the show is going to happen after she appears versus before, like the puppet show with the music and the song.
Well, the puppet show is a separate thing.
Okay.
I'm talking about.
Another.
I'm tripling up.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I know we're going above and beyond here.
Yeah.
Just in case.
No, totally. Okay. So, with the dignity, you're able to transport her secretly. And cause a distraction to bring her. Before that happens, at the Hupla, the puppeteers approach you, Edward, and they bring their stand, and some of the people there see that the puppeteers are here, and they're kind of like whispering, like, "Oh my gosh, the acting troupe is here," and they come up to you, and Papo, she's like, "All right, well, we're here. What do you want us to do?" I made a bunch of goblin puppets.
Fantastic. Well,
she shows you the goblin puppets.
What better story than the story of Brandonsford itself? How about something of the hero Brandon, and have him killing some goblins, and have him be a figure worthy of emulation by all that are of good heart?
See, I thought it would be more interesting if we showed the goblin raid.
Okay. The problem with that is it's too literal, and it's this is going to cause a fuss if you talk about the raid. But if you talk about the story of Brandon, you see, it might send the same message a bit easier to swallow. Sorry, Ben.
What if we get the goblin puppets spread out so that our big finale could be a rendition of "See a Goblin Throw a Rock," and we could kind of end with that as our big finale.
Yeah, well, and make sure you got to have Brandon singing it. Brandon's got to be the character of Brandon needs to be singing the song along with everybody.
So if you do your shows beforehand as whatever you got, but save the goblins for the big denouement, so to speak, and have them set up so that when the big finale of the show, we can do, maybe not the finale, before, the big culmination. Of course, you're the expert on performances, so maybe you do the big one and then you kind of bring the group down and have an encore. I don't know. That's up to you. Yes. You're the expert. But
we don't want to offend anybody tonight.
The culmination being the big show is when we reveal "See a Goblin Throw a Rock," and then we beat up all the puppets, right? I don't know. This is brainstorming here.
That's a great idea. Fantastic. Yes. Narrative flow to it.
Papa's like, all right, the story of Brandon, only because I like you all. And will that be it then? The story of Brandon?
Well, and then afterwards, perhaps some light comedy. You can sneak some subversive things in there once everybody's had a few.
Oh, nice!
Goblin Throw a Rock. That's some good stuff there. That's your big show, right?
All right. So, the festivities begin after the scrimmage match, and everybody's assembled, and you're all out here. What are you? Did you wear your tunics with like leather belts and pants and boots? Or how did you dress? How did you prepare for the event?
I think definitely got the bounder sash prominent, right. The around the neck with the hat pinned to it,
Yeah, the bounder stuff. Okay.
Don't know that we got much else big person stuff that'll fit other than
I've got my armor and sword, my awesome and totally awesome armor and sword on.
Okay.
And that's looking
I would like to think that Warden has stayed up probably majority of the night after tending to the tents to wash and properly fit his clothes so that they look much better than they did before. And he's particularly proud of his bowl cut, right. But he's completely unaware of the cowlick he has in the back where it's like straight alfalfa in the back that he can't see, and he's constantly tending to it.
You are able to see this, that Warden has got a really weird thing going on with his hair.
A peacock has wandered into town.
What? Where?
Okay. All right. So the events happen, and then finally, how do you reveal her then, if that's the case? Like, do you just bring her in like royalty and sit her down, and then?
Well, no, she's just going to walk. I mean, this is while the distraction is going on. We're going to get her up to the seat of honor first,
Right.
while the distraction is going on, and then a signal from me will hopefully announce the fanfare, signal the fanfare, which should draw everyone's attention, and I will, with great stentorian.
Everyone, so it does get everyone's attention, and they're all just slack-jawed and silent. Something you never hear from hobbits as they see.
My dear hobbits of Brandonsford, my new friends, and I think I can call you all friends. It is with great pleasure that I announce tonight's guest of honor. Yes, it's true. It's Ingiltrude herself, come to join us for the Hupla and to enjoy all the evening's festivities with us. Lady Ingiltrude, would you care to have a few words?
She literally has a few words as she dodders up and says, "Such a pleasant night to get to see everyone. It is a pleasure to see each and every face. And I love you all dearly." That's all she says, and sits down. The hobbits are silent and shocked. And then Rortrud stands up, and she starts clapping.
Well, I second her clapping, and encourage the audience to and everyone there to do the same.
Yeah, then they all raise up and they start clapping as well, and then all right, you have her, and now Ingiltrude is seated, and everyone is clapping and everything, and it calms down again. What do you do next?
Oh, well, that's when the puppet show is supposed to start, I think.
All right.
While dinner's being served, I suppose.
Yeah, the dinner's served. Everybody's drinking and talking and laughing, and then they like kind of become murmur. They murmur again as like the acting troupe appears, and they set up the puppet show, and you have this is the goblins, right? They show the goblins. But what's the plan? Will you start singing the song?
The plan is the story of Brandon.
Oh yeah, the Brandon.
Yes, with lots of goblins thrown in.
I think that's shocking in and of itself. That like the acting troupe that basically is always irreverent is now performing the most reverential and sacred thing for Brandonsford, the founding of Brandonsford. Where it said that there were hobbits that were Aldwin and Dulkeen and Vonkar, all the types of hobbits that had actually assisted Brandon. And everyone's enraptured by it. And they enjoy the performance, yeah.
Well, then I begin leading the band in the performance of See a Goblin Throw a Rock, which is ultimately the theme song of the... it'll be a heroic theme that I will have worked into the soundtrack leading up to then, but then we'll add the lyrics. See a goblin throw a rock.
That's where
so go ahead.
we have we also have like a party game of we have the painted buckets where people can actually throw the rocks at.
Yeah, the kids who are running around, exactly. Everybody take a turn.
Yeah, and there's it's a whole. Let's see, we got puppets. See a goblin throw a rock. This is a whole Jim Henson thing. I think at this point.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, yeah. So that happens, and everybody claps, and they're all kind of drunk, and they've eaten their fill, and the town now kind of appreciates the acting troupe more. Until the end of the night, when the acting troupe decides it's time to put on something of their own, because you told them they could. And then they start. Oh, how far do I want to go with it? I'm gonna roll a d6, and that's how far.
Hope everybody's too drunk to remember.
I rolled well on your all's behalf. So it's actually just a little irreverent. And yes, the drunkenness and everything makes it to where it's not too bad. I had something in mind that was just terrible. Okay, good.
I'm disappointed now.
And anyways, eventually it goes well into the night, and people start to go home. And Ingiltrude, she looks up to you all. I think, say to Bashaw, and says, "I would very much like to retire now, if that's okay with you."
Sean nods and he'll walk her back to her house.
Yeah, well, everyone is like drinking and partying and everything, even at the two taverns, despite everything that's been going on.
I will take a little time out to walk her back too. I think it seems like it would be.
Everybody escorts her back home, and she gets to her front door and she says, "That was a most lovely evening. I haven't gotten to experience something like that in a long time. You know, sometimes in Brandonsford, everything sort of follows this pattern that we're in. I know that some horrible things have happened lately. There used to be so much joy here. Thank you so much."
Thank you, my lady, for making tonight the best it could be.
She smiles and departs into her home. And I will tell you the results. So it worked. It was a successful hoopla by far. And we had an episode called "I Don't Get Little People," and now everyone has figured it out, and they figured out how the little people work, which is kind of cool. And there's an XP thing, so that's kind of cool. So I know it says XP for treasure, but I have Underhill Bywater, and you get all the party planners get XP commensurate with the success of the party. So I'll divvy that up. So that's kind of cool. Also, it says this, and I'm gonna do it. It says that anytime and it calls it a charm score, but so I'm gonna say that's the reaction roll, right? It says to do it twice and take the best result. Or if you had failed the hoopla, you would do it twice and take the worst result, which would have been catastrophic. Like you wouldn't have got anything out of the meeting. So tomorrow then, the next day, the following day, is the town hall meeting. But I think we'll just stop there for tonight.